What's up, guys? Jeff here with Grit City Fitness and Performance. All right, let's dive right in. So today we're going to be talking about two strategies to actually help you track food without actually tracking food. One of the biggest problems we have with people is they usually do not want to go through the process of actually inputting their food. Also, they usually do not know what they're truly consuming or how it's affecting their bodies. So what we have here is two strategies, basically simplify the whole process. Will get you from where you're currently at, which is doing nothing in regards to nutrition tracking, to at least a little bit of understanding of what you're doing and how to best continue to make it work right for you. Now, this conversation is not going to be about how to eat well. What I'm not going to be talking about is the difference between chicken and a Twinkie. We all know that. So we're going to use our own brains in the sense of how we're going to utilize this and what we're going to be considering these numbers that I'm going to be explaining. So we're actually going to be talking about three things today. First thing is going to be the calendar of compliance method. The second thing we're going to be talking about is the hunger and fullness chart. And the third thing is going to be 4 ways to control overeating. So we're going to wrap this all up into 3 little sections that hopefully I can condense down and make nice and quick for you. So here's a real goal here. Track something. It doesn't matter really how you do it or what you do. All we're trying to do is get you to better understand nutrition for yourself and if you're good or bad. Okay? So let's first go for the calendar compliance method. The calendar compliance method is very, very simple. It's in this left box over here. How it works is if you had a normal calendar, you might even have a desktop calendar or a calendar on your wall, something like that. But for instance, let's say this was my calendar. I've got my Monday, my Tuesday, my Wednesday, my Thursday, all the way up till the following Tuesday. Here's how the calendar compliance method works. We're using a 10-to-1 scale. 10 being perfect or great nutrition, 1 being absolute shit. So let's see what absolute shit might be. Absolute shit might be a complete day of Twinkies, donuts, ice cream, candy, soda, fucking everything, right? Every bad thing you could possibly imagine, that would be absolute shit. Perfect would be a day where you consume all your protein that you need to. You hit your macros, or if you were doing macros, you hit your numbers. You have veggies at every meal, and you also have some fruit. You don't have anything that would be on a negative or a not so good food choice. So we're not going to go into those, but we do have an idea of a good, better, best food approach. Good being, every kind of food. Better being a little bit healthier, and a best option being what is optimal. Okay, so we're going to use a 10-to-1 food scale or a rating. Now for this, all we do is we look at our daily calendar, and hopefully you guys actually have one. If you have one, it's important to write this. What we're doing is we're basically going through each day as we go through that day, tracking on a 10-to-1 how we would rate that day. So we would do this either the next day or the night of. At that point, let's say today is Wednesday, so let's use Monday, because we are starting with Monday. My Monday, I would say I had a 7. My Tuesday, so yesterday, we had barbecue, and I did something else, so I would say I had an 8. For today, so far I've been good, so let's imagine that this was last week. I'm going to say that I'm at a 10 today. Thursday, last week, I would say I was an 8. Friday, I'm going to say that I was a 5. I had froyo, I had donuts, I even had Wendy's, so it was not good. My Saturday, I'm going to give myself another 8. Sunday, let's say 9. Monday, let's say 8. And Tuesday, I had another 7. Now, what we can look at here, guys, is the calendar compliance method is very, very basic and simple. All it's doing is allowing us to visually see how many days that we have been in prime ideal numbers, which is going to be 8, 9, 10, how many days that we've been in 5, 6, 7, and how many days we've been under 5, right? So our main goal is to have as many days as possible in the 8, 9, 10. However, if we're in the 5, 6, 7, we can definitely see that there is some work to be made. And if we're constantly in our 1 to 5, that shows that that's why we're probably having an issue achieving our goals. Also with this, if we are hitting multiple days of 8, 9, 10, we're probably going to be on the right track to successfully either lose weight, gain weight, or start seeing a transformation that you're trying to obtain. Now, if we're in the 5, 6, 7, we're probably going to be struggling a little bit. We might see a little bit of weight, We might see a little bit of transformation, but we're not going to be seeing as great of transformation. And if we're anything under a 5, most likely you're actually going in reverse of your goals. So the calendar compliance method is very, very basic and simple. Straightforward, easy to do, and doesn't take any real work. All you have to do is think about what you ate for today. Does it fall into a good, better, best approach? And if it's in a good, we're going to be ranking a little bit lower. If it's in a better, it's going to be ranking in the 5 to 7. And if it's best, it's going to be 8 to 10. Very simple, very straightforward. Now, let's talk about the hunger and fullness chart. This is one that's going to be more for someone that doesn't really know if they're eating enough, if they're always stuffing themselves, or if you just have a hard time consistently eating and how to balance the way you consume food. So what you would do is you take a piece of paper or a journal, whatever you guys want. Obviously, I'm on a whiteboard. You're going to write 5 kind of lines. One side, we're going to have time. So you guys can even do this in an Excel spreadsheet. You're going to have one column that's time, one column that's the meal, one column that's a rating from 0 to 10 for hunger, one column that's a 0 to 4 rating for fullness, and one column with subjective thoughts. How this works, guys, is all you're going to do is in column 1, write the time that you consume your food. In column 2, you're going to write what you actually consumed. So, for instance, let's say today I had pita pit. I had a chicken Caesar pita pit. Now, that's not actually what I had, but let's say that's what I had. I had a chicken Caesar pita pit at 11:15. Okay, so I would write 11:15 in the first column. Second column, I'm going to write exactly what I had. So obviously I don't have a lot of room, so I'm just going to say pita pit, chicken. Okay, from there, we now go into the third column, which is our hunger rating. Now for our ratings, we've got a scale of 0 to 5. If we look down here, we've got our 0 being not hungry at all. We have a 1, which is a slight hunger, right? Number 2, which is a moderate hunger. Number 3, which is very hungry. Number 4, where you're starving. I put very with underlining. Basically, that means you're starving. And 5, you're hangry. You look like the Hulk. You're going to go break shit unless you eat. Okay? So we have those ratings of a 0 to 5. Now, in my case, I usually eat when I'm a 3. But other people might eat at a 0, 1, a 2, a 3, or 4. After that, what I do is I wait a little bit after my meal. I see how I feel fullness-wise. What I do then is on a scale of 0 to 4, we have 0 being not full at all, 1 being slightly full, 2 being moderately full, 3 being very full, and 4 being fucking stuffed. Now, fucking stuffed basically means Thanksgiving, right? So, now what we do is I say, all right, well, I just consumed my meal. It's been about 10 to 15 minutes. I am now a 4. And then, this is the fun part. I write my subjective thoughts. Subjective meaning not my emotional thoughts, but how do I feel now after consuming my food? Do I feel lethargic? Do I feel energized? Do I feel tired? Do I feel like I could go do or work out after? Write your thoughts. Do I feel like I have bloating? Do I feel like my stomach's gargling and I have to immediately go to the bathroom? Right? These are all subjective thoughts that you would be writing down with this. Now, I'm going to scratch this because I don't have enough room to actually write my subjective thoughts, but you would do that in your own column. All right? So, now, we review this. So what this is going to be telling us here, guys, is the main things is we're looking at the meals that we're eating. We want to look and see, is the meal that I'm eating fulfilling my need for food? Is it fulfilling my hunger? And is it fulfilling my fullness? Also, how do I feel after this? Because the problem that we oftentimes have is we might consume food, but then we don't realize the effects of that food until we actually write it down. So a perfect example of this, guys, is, sorry to be gross, if you guys do not take a shit for 4 to 5 days. If you don't take a shit for 4 to 5 days, it's sitting in your stomach. Now, you don't really realize how shitty you feel, pun intended. You don't realize how shitty you feel till after you go to the bathroom. Then once you go to the bathroom and you've gone to the bathroom now every day for 2 to 3 days, you're like, holy shit, I was bloated as fuck. I felt like absolute crap. Maybe it was because I was full of crap. Now, you don't notice that until it happens. So that's one of the other kind of swinging pendulums that ends up happening when people do something like paleo, low carb, no carb, or get rid of whole foods altogether. Now, I don't agree with that principle because I believe that everybody's body is able to digest and break down almost everything. However, think about it like this. No matter what you take out of your body, when you reintroduce a new stimulus back into the body after a couple days or a couple weeks, it's going to negatively affect it because the body has stopped having to do any work for it. However, when we do this fullness chart and this subjective thoughts, this actually allows us to, in present time, see exactly how our bodies are adjusting and regulating to the food and consumption that we have. So this is a very good one for those that tend to overeat, have a hard time losing weight, and just have a overall hard time of understanding what they're doing throughout their day. So we use the hunger and fullness chart. Now, we move on to the third topic that I was talking about today, which is 4 ways to control overeating. Now, overeating is a very common issue, and it has led to an epidemic of people being fat. Now, overeating is sometimes controlled and other times uncontrolled. However, when I say uncontrolled, it's because we don't understand why it happens. However, that's what I'm going to be talking about now. So, there's 4 ways to control overeating. The first is portion size, or plate size. So I'll add that. Now, there was a study done about, they tested how much someone would eat of popcorn. They gave an individual a bowl of popcorn that was smaller, and they'd eat so much. And then when they gave them the larger bowl of popcorn, they actually consumed more popcorn. Okay, so what this tells us is that portion size can actually dictate how much we consume. Now, they also did a study based on plate size. Now, they didn't get the same reading. However, I do believe that if you have a large plate of food with a shit ton of food on it, you're obviously going to consume more. Why? Because your eyes are bigger than your stomach, and you oftentimes will not equate what you're consuming to how dense or how much it really is, especially if you have a large plate full of food. Now, the other reason that the study didn't really work out well, the second study where it was based on plate size, was because it was based on a buffet style. So using buffet ideas, I wouldn't say that if you go and eat a small plate somewhere and then a large plate, I'm pretty sure you're going to consume more if you eat the large plate versus small plate. So portion size and plate size will dictate this. So if you want to help yourself not eat as much, 2 tactics. If you go out to eat, immediately when you get your food, cut everything in half, put it in a to-go box. That immediately reduces the amount of food in front of you that you can potentially eat. Now, if you eat it all and you're still hungry, you can then dive into that side plate. Second thing, if you're out to eat, order smaller items. So taster menus, appetizers, stuff like that. Third thing, when you're at home, consume your food on smaller plates because you will not have as much room to pile shit on. Fourth thing on portion size, weigh and measure your food if you have the ability. Now, again, we were talking about easy to implement strategies. That might be a little too hard. Second thing, for ways to control your overeating is speed of consumption. So the body has a reaction time of about 10 to 15 minutes after you start consuming food. If I eat everything really, really fast, my body doesn't have enough time to start to feel full. Which means if I eat very fast and I also have more food in front of me, I'm going to now consume more food. Because my body hasn't flipped the little trigger that says, hey, you're starting to get full. So speed of eating can actually control your overeating probably more than almost anything else. Because slowing yourself down will make it so your stomach and your body actually starts to get the food in and start to feel full before you consume everything. So one of my old tricks that I no longer can use because I've become a pro at it was using chopsticks to consume most of my food. Or I'd recommend people use chopsticks to consume most of their food because most people in Western society suck at chopsticks. So if I try and eat food with chopsticks, it's going to automatically slow me down. The other thing you could do for speed of food is set a timer and try and, instead of just consuming your food as fast as possible, try and prolong the experience for about 10 to 12 minutes. If you can do that, I guarantee you that you'll start to feel full at that point. All right. Third thing is social effect. social effect is a different kind of topic here, because what it means by social effect is if you're sitting down in a group of friends versus yourself, you're going to most likely consume more in the social situation than you will in your singular situation. This is because usually when you're with friends, you have more food in front of you. So we go portion size and plate size. You also usually will spend more time sitting in front of food, which means that you're usually going to eat. Now, if you're someone like me who tends to fidget or likes to kind of stay moving, eating is usually what I end up doing. So if I'm in a group of people and we go to a Mexican restaurant, I'm usually the person that eats all the chips. Now, if I'm by myself, I only eat about 1/3 of the chips. But when I'm with other people, I tend to eat a lot more. So social effect will have a great deal of your overeating. How to resolve this? Now, I don't want to say this, but how to resolve this social eating is put yourself on a controlled limit. Make sure that you're only eating so much. Or spend less time in the social situations, or just make sure that you avoid the things that you don't want to eat or can no longer eat. Fourth thing is going to be placement and access. Now, I don't see it too much anymore, but I remember when when I was very young and my mom would take me to work with her. And we'd go to her office or other people's office or anybody's office in general. And usually there's 2 to 3 women in the office that always had bowls of candy. They had bowls of candy on their desk. Now, there's 2 pieces of this. Placement, which is where it's at. Is it easy to access? Is it quick to access? And is it available? Third thing is access itself. But we'll also give one more as visual. So what visual means is, again, another study was done where they tested the psychological effect and the eating habits of someone putting candy in a clear jar where they could see the candy versus a jar that wasn't clear, so they couldn't see what was in it. They noticed that the people that saw clear jars would eat more versus people that did not see what was in it. So, placement being, is what you're eating accessible and easy to get? Access, is it something that is readily available? Because if it is, you will continue to snack on it. And third, is it visual? So if it's in front of you, you'll probably eat it. Also, smelling does have an effect on this, so I'll add that. Smell can also dictate your ability to overeat. So one of the tactics here for number 4 is going to be using fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, putting things in your way where you can properly set yourself up for success. Now, if you have that lady who has candy on her jar at work, try and avoid it, right? Don't see it, don't smell it, don't look at it. But if you put fresh fruit on your island counter and your kitchen, most likely as you walk through your house and you see that fresh fruit, you're going to consume it. So fill your spaces up with food that is actually beneficial to your results, not hindering your results, and that will assist you in achieving a better placement, a better access, visual, and smell to reduce your overeating. Now, hopefully these 3 techniques have helped you in regards to the calendar compliance method, the hunger and fullness chart, as well as 4 ways to control overeating. Now, if you're looking to take your nutrition to the next step, you're looking to get better results all around, you're ready to transform your body, not just through your nutrition, but also training or one or the other, click on the link above and let's chat. Then we can see where you're currently at, what things you need to do, and make the right roadmap to get you to your end outcomes. Otherwise, start implementing at least one of these nutrition methods, either the calendar compliance method or the hunger and fullness chart, to help assist you in guiding yourself through the right path for your nutrition. From there, start realizing these 4 ways to control your overeating and how you can get better at doing that and regulating yourself so that way you don't have the issue of overeating and you can successfully achieve your results through nutrition. Alright guys, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to comment below, but I would love to chat with you and assist you in achieving your goals through nutrition and training or even just mindset. So click on the link above and let's chat and let's see how we can work together to get you to your goals. Take care guys.